Hi guys, this turned up the other day, just before the weekend. I ordered it a few weeks ago off AliExpress, and these things are basically meant for these mining rigs where people have lots of GPUs all stacked up, yeah, and you can put a GPU in each one of these, and basically they come with like a little adapter like this, which is like a single channel PCIe adapter, yeah. And this fits to your motherboard, and then you've got what is basically it's a USB cable, yeah, which connects to the adapter. And I thought, yeah, you know, I've seen these things on mining rigs, but are they any good for repairing graphics cards? You know, for testing them to make it easier, maybe. So I ordered one. This wasn't the cheapest one around, but it was about €6 or something like that with free postage. So on here you've got like a 6-way 12-volt connector, you've got a Molex connector, you've got another 6-way, so each of these will effectively feed in the 12 volts, yeah. And at the same time I thought I'd upgrade the entire rig I use for testing graphics cards. The previous one I had is LGA 775 with a Core 2 Duo on there. And it works great for you know, just checking and measuring voltages, but it doesn't support UEFI BIOS, and I think that might cause problems with some graphics cards. So I wanted a motherboard that had UEFI, and this one does. It came off one of the computers from the car boot sale a couple of weeks ago, and the main disadvantage of those, they all tend to be PCIe, but this one obviously it's PCIe, but it's also got a PCI slot, so I can put the post analyzer card in here, which works much better in PCI than it does in PCIe. And I thought, yeah, I can use this, hopefully. Set the post analyzer in, connect the little adapter, yeah, to the slot, making sure it goes the right way round, by the way, with a wide bit before the slot. If you put it in that way, which you can readily do, you'll connect the 3.3 volt, or rather not 3.3, the low voltage inputs which go, you know, on the single PCIe lane to your graphics card. You'll connect them directly to 3.3 volts by doing that, and before you know it, you'll have one dead GPU, yeah. I mean, in the single output slots you can only put them in one way, but if you put it in the 16 way like this, make sure you put it the right way. That's the only thing I would say. So the idea is that I can power this from the 12 volts off the bench power supply, and I can see the current the graphics card's drawing, yeah. That's what I'm thinking. I won't see what it's drawing on 3.3, which I'm guessing is coming up this cable, but I'll be able to see what's happening on the 12 volts. Actually, I'll probably qualify that. This probably isn't the 3.3 on here. I'm thinking now this is a buck regulator here, so this will be taking the 12 volts to 3.3, I'm sure, actually. So in actual fact I'll be able to see all the current that the graphics card's drawing. The other idea, find an old graphics card, is that obviously I can put this in the slot here. I've got some space now, so I can move this out the way, and now I can easily just flick this over while I'm working on it, yeah. So that's how it came. It included one cable like this one, which is, as you can see, as a oops, just get off there. It's also easier to do that as well, by the way, to take the graphics card off. Came with one adapter to like a SATA type connector. So what I've done is I've made up some adapters. So this one is basically I used some cables off an old scrap ATX power supply, yeah. So I've got SATA on here, so I can feed SATA into the adapter, yeah. And I've also got an 8-way one which can go to, like, you know, the connector on the back of the graphics card, and I've got another one as well, Molex 2 6-way, so I can use these connecting to the graphics card. That's what I'm thinking, yeah. And I've got another one for that matter. So yeah, that's the idea. So I'm going to power this from here, because there's only so much power comes in this way, about 75 watts maximum, yeah. And then all the other connectors can go onto the graphics card if needed. Okay, so that's what I've got. So I'll connect these to the bench power supply, and then let's have a look to see what this actually does, yeah. Okay, so it's all connected up, so let me show you what this looks like. Yeah. Okay, so there we have it. I've got the bench power supply, I've got the motherboard ready to go. I'll just find a switch to start it with. Yeah, I'll probably mount one on this metal plate shortly actually, so I can just push a button. Yeah, I'll just connect one on there. I've got the post analyzer, and I can now stick graphics cards into this adapter and see what they do. So I've got a few older ones here, but let's practice with some old ones first, and then we can see where we go with this. Yeah. With one limitation, this power supply is 5 watt, so that can effectively supply about 5 watt. This is a 5 amp power supply. Yeah, so at 12 volts that can supply about 60 watts. I'm not sure what power graphics cards are going to take when they kind of like not doing anything 3D, if you know what I mean. They're just kind of like idling. But I suspect for modern graphics cards I'll need a more powerful power supply. I can buy 20 amp ones at not unreasonable price. I can buy 30 amps or even 40. So I'll do a bit of experimenting, and if I like this setup, I'll get my hands on it on a more powerful supply. I was intending to buy at least a 10 amp one anyway. Occasionally I find times this isn't powerful enough. Okay, so we can give this a go. So this I believe is a working card. I know this is a working card. It's Sapphire HD 4850, 1 gigabyte. Yeah, let's put this in here and let's get some idea of the amount of power that one of these draws. It has a 6-way connector up here, so we'll connect that as well. I'll do this one. Yeah, so that's connected. This is connected. Yeah, all on there. But I'll just get a start switch and then we'll start it up and see what happens. I've added a little start switch then and a bleeper as well. May as well have a bleeper on there. Connect to the VGA or DVI, whichever. It's a VGA to the graphics card. And let's see what happens first. So the power supply will be in standby originally. This should come on. It's already set to 12 volts. So let's switch it on and see what actually happens. Well, the fan's spinning and it's drawing 0.9 of an amp. 12 volts. And obviously the PC isn't on, so nothing else is happening. So let's start the PC and then we can see what happens with the current here. And we can see what happens with the analyzer and see if we get a picture or a bleep. Yeah. Okay, let's see what happens when you press the button. Well, it's booting. Current's up 1.35. And I've got a blue light on the monitor and I've got a picture. So this works. Yeah, just saying no bootable device. Current's up at 3.78, almost 4 amps. So certainly to do this with more modern graphics cards, I'm sure we would need a more powerful power supply. But yeah, I mean, it's first attempt, that's working. We've got a picture. Yeah. So if I shut this PC back down again, yes, this has gone back down. So that's giving us a bit of useful information. We can see the whole thing's powered up. Yeah. We can switch it off. Okay, let's try something else. So as I say, this is easy to get the card off. Yeah, this is quite nice. I've got a couple more fairly old cards. This one's a HD something it'll be. Shelby 10-M02. That is a HD something. Yeah. It's got one 6-way connector again. I'll just have a quick Google and tell you what this card actually is. Okay, it's Radeon HD 5570. This one has the HDMI and DVI but no VGA, so I'll just need to use the other cable from the monitor. I'll use the DVI because it's the easiest one to get hold of. Normally I've got the HDMI monitor connected to the microscope. Yeah, so we'll stick that in there. And again, we've got the power on it. Stick it in our adapter. Let's see what happens with this one. Again, I'm certain this actually is a good card. Yeah, pretty certain. So again, it's sitting there quite happily. Power on once more. It's powered up. Fans going. drawing more power than the other one. See what happens when we start it. Well, again, this is booting. This actually didn't change so much on this card. Do we get a picture? I thought this card was actually working, but the cable wasn't plugged in very well. Maybe this isn't a good card. I actually thought this was a good card, yeah. Okay, we can have a look at that. I mean, one thing I noticed is the power didn't change on there, yeah, or hardly any. Shut the PC back down. It's changing a little bit. It's like some of the voltage rails are not powering up maybe on this one, yeah. Let's just give it another go. Okay, no bleeps, nothing on the screen. So that one doesn't work. Let's try the other one we have. Okay, it's a slightly bigger one. This is a HD 5870. This has two 6-ways on there, so again it's connected to the bench power supply. Everything's powered from the bench power supply, and the signal's coming in from the PC. Yeah, just that wasn't very. I think that might have been a bit loose actually. The other end of this seemed a little bit loose. Yeah, just just was a little bit loose. Okay, so let's try this one then. So again, let's put some power on and see what the current happens on here. What it does, yeah. Well, it's drawing quite a low power. Let's try and start the PC. Right, now clearly this one doesn't power up, yeah, that didn't change at all. Computer's booting. Yeah, that'll probably bleep in a minute. But yeah, that one I think we can say straight away, this tells us it didn't power up, yeah, so we can maybe diagnose that one. Okay, so let's have a look at this one and see how it is to work on this on the bench here. I'll just take all the covers off this one. Okay, so I've got all the covers off. One moment. Oh, it's okay. Thought the camera froze, but it's fine. Okay, so I've got the covers off it. It looks to me straight away, just look at this by the way, like this. The RAM's been running very hot. I don't know if that's normal for one of these. I don't see it around the GPU, but I see like this kind of like almost staining, almost like, looks like an oil stain, yeah, around by the RAM. So let's do the usual things with this then. I mean, I think we know that some of the voltage rails are obviously not powering up, it's not starting up, yeah. Let's have a quick look to see what we find on the way resistances on this. So I'm thinking these are probably the RAM phase, and they're very high actually. Now that's 16. These two read differently. That one's reading 16 ohms. If that's the RAM phase, that's low. There's a whole row of surface mount ones down here, but I can get to the end of the coil. So this should be the GPU core. Yeah, that looks quite reasonable. 1.8. This is a short. Yeah, so that looks okay. Yeah, that's quite reasonable. Another coil over here, so we can just see what's on this one. 36 ohms. Any more? There's one back here which might be on the 12 volt rail actually. Reading high, little squawker there. Another one here which reads high. Is it? Yeah, 32k. What's on the output of that one? Yeah, 2.2k. I'm guessing this is the output capacity. It could be the input. There's 16 volts. This might be on the 12 volt. Like a kind of a filter, yeah. So the only thing I can really say with these so far is this seems to be reading rather low. If it's meant to be VRAM. Strange enough, it's actually it's reading low. Okay, so that's what we have. This is probably the 3.3 volt supply somewhere here. Yeah. Okay, well let's power this up. We can't see any shorts, so let's have a look to see how easy it is to work on this, actually measuring voltages. Okay, we're ready to go then. I've connected this 12 volt here rather than here. They're actually in parallel. I've metered all these out, so the Molex and the 2 6-ways are all in parallel, so it's kind of like either or both, yeah, whatever you want to use. So that's okay. Set the meter there so you can see it stop it flashing. I don't know why that thing flashes. Okay, so yeah, we're ready to go. We're connecting to the computer, all adapters in. We can switch all the power on. And strangely enough, this is only now read. Let me see if you can see it. This is drawing a lot less current, and that's with me just opening it up. I haven't done anything to it. It was drawing a lot more than that originally. Let's see what happens if we try and start this. Nothing much. Something's changed there. Let me see if I figure out if I've got a bad connection somewhere on one of these. The only thing I think is I've done differently is I've connected this to here, but I know it connects to here, yeah. Okay, yeah, all the wires have just make sure they're getting on there, yeah. Good. Okay, let's give it another go. Drawing practically no power. Well, that I suppose in itself tells us something, yeah. Should tell us something. It didn't like the covers taking off, that's what it tells us. Okay, let's have a look. So we've got, I'll start the PC. This is doing nothing, basically. So let's see what we've got inside this. That's one of the 12 volts coming in. I thought it might be. This is another 12 volts. 12 volts. So this should be the V core, and there's nothing there. Nothing there. So sorry, not V core, V RAM and probably V memory controller. Yeah, nothing on any of them. So there won't be any V core. Nothing on this one. I've got 12 volts coming in down here. Yeah. Can't easily measure it on the card, unfortunately, but there's some capacitors just here, which I'm guessing are probably on the 12 volt rail. Nothing there. Yeah, 12 volt rail, and I'm guessing this is on the 3.3, and I don't have anything there on this fuse. Well, sorry, 0 ohm resistor. Oh, that's like there's no 3.3 volts for some reason. That'd kind of explain why it's drawing no current. Let me check the resistances around here and see what's going on with the 3.3 volt supply. Okay, I had a quick look. And that's a little bleeper on here that's sometimes bleeping, by the way, yeah? On its own. So what I can see is it's drawing almost no power. Yeah, that was stopping a minute on it. I'm not sure. It's like some little bleeper on the thing, yeah. The 3.3 volts is actually down here. There, yeah. It actually comes, by the way, from here. I had a quick look. This is a 5 volt regulator, buck controller here, yeah. And the 5 volt goes into this linear regulator, and out comes the 3.3, yeah. That's where the 3.3 is. What I don't find on the board is any 5 volts. Wish that had shut up, but still. I'm thinking this is possibly the 5 volts. Yeah, I don't seem to have any 5 volt. There's no voltage on this here. This is obviously cold because there's no power base on it, yeah. Let's stop it. Not sure I like that, the fact I push a bit on the GPU and the squawker comes and goes. That's not promising. But I can't find the 5 volt supply. I'll have to have a bit of a poke around. This is 12, yeah. But my best bet I can say so far, this has got no 5 volts now, but something changed since we took the covers off. Okay, let me have a figure out where the 5 volts is. Ah, I've got to the bottom of that mystery now as to why this is behaving differently. And it just occurred to me, you don't suppose the fan could draw 0.8 of an amp, do you? So I connected the cooler back up onto it, yeah, and there you go, drawing a lot of current. Well, 0.68 of an amp again, and we'll start it up, and nothing changes, yeah, nothing changes. So okay, that's where the current was being drawn. Okay, I had a quick look. I mean, this is not a repair video, it's really to demonstrate the equipment, yeah, so what you think of this. But round by this coil here, there's quite a lot of capacitors, and they all seem to have 0 volts on them. But it's quite a hefty power rail, that is. I'm thinking that probably isn't the 5 volts, yeah. I don't think we'd have that many capacitors on the 5 volts. The 5 volts is normally a much lower powered rail than that, yeah. I mean, there's some regulators I can look around here. It's got 12 coming in, but nothing, possibly nothing coming out of that one. So that may be where it is. There's another hefty looking resistor here, that's 12 volts on it. But yeah, I mean, as a way of working on the board, this is comfortable, yeah. I can probe around this quite easily. 12 volts on there again, nothing on that one. I can turn the thing over easily and work on the other side. So I'd have to say that's fairly successful. There might be some graphics cards that don't want to work in single channel mode. I wouldn't be surprised you might find something that doesn't like that, yeah. There's some nice lights on here, 12 volts and 3.3, yeah, lit up. Okay guys, so that's my new GPU testing rig. I do like it, and I'm sure I will get myself a higher power supply. I suspect I need it, but I find this a very comfortable way to work on graphics cards. I guess another advantage is if you've got a GPU that you've got some damage on the PCIe lanes, but it will run in single channel, yeah, single lane mode, so it works, and when you put in the PC it doesn't work. That might also give you some idea, help you to diagnose the faults. Okay guys, hope you like that one. Make it quite a short video, and yeah, let me know what you think about this setup, and is it something you'd like to try yourself, yeah. Okay guys, over to you, ciao for now.